In the heart of a bustling African city lived a man named Kwaku Mensa. To the world, he was a tight-knot billionaire whose hands molded industries and whose wealth whispered influence into the ears of presidents. Yet beneath his polished shoes and designer suits, Kwaku carried a burden unknown to the public, a gnawing emptiness that no mansion, no luxury, and no applause could silence. He had inherited the Mensa empire, shipping, mining, real estate from his father, and multiplied its worth tenfold. But somewhere along the way, in the race to be the greatest, Kwaku had lost something vital. He had no friends, only allies. He had no family left, only board members, and love that had long been corrupted by gold-digging suitors who saw his net worth before his name. One evening, as the golden African sun dipped behind his glass tower, Kwaku stood at his penthouse balcony and watched the city pulse below him. He sighed, deeply, heavily, like the weight of his fortune pressed on his chest. He turned to his butler Kojo, the only man who'd stayed by his side since childhood. "Kojo," Kwaku said, his voice unusually soft, "I need to find someone who loves me, not my name, not my money, just me." Kojo, an older man with a wise smile, bowed slightly. "You'll never find that up here, sir. Maybe you need to go down, to where people don't care about titles, where men herd goats and women earn their bread by baking under the sun. Disappear into the dust and you'll see who's real." That night, Kwaku made a decision that would change his life forever. He called an emergency meeting, handed over control of the company to his trusted cousin for 6 months, and told no one where he was going. Only Kojo knew the truth. And so, the billionaire vanished. Days later, a new face appeared in the quiet village of Tanbo. A stranger in ragged clothes, wearing a simple straw hat and leading a small herd of goats. He introduced himself as Kwame, and from that moment, the legend of the goat herder began. Asterisk, asterisk, the village of Tambo was unlike anything Kwaku had ever known. It was quiet, so quiet that you could hear the rustling of tree leaves and the clink of goat bells from far across the hills. People greeted each other by name. Elders told stories under the baobab tree, and food was shared even when there wasn't much to go around. Kwaku, now going by the name Kwame, had traded his Italian loafers for cracked sandals and his designer watches for a woven leather strap around his wrist. His days began before the sun rose, as he followed the goats up the hill and watched over them as they grazed. At first, it was torturous. His hands blistered from the rope, his back ached from the long walks, and the sun-honed forgiving darkened his once polished skin. But slowly, strangely, something shifted. There was peace in the rhythm of village life, in the silence, in the simplicity. And there was laughter, genuine laughter, in the voice of a certain young woman. Her name was Ama. Ama was the daughter of the village's seamstress. She worked at the river every morning, washing clothes and singing old songs in a voice as soft as the wind through the trees. She was neither the most glamorous nor the wealthiest in the village, but there was something about her that stirred something deep inside Kwame. He noticed how she always offered to help the elderly cross the muddy road, how she gave the last piece of fried yam to the children, even when her stomach growled, how she smiled, not with expectation, but with kindness. Kwame was drawn to her like the moon pulls the tide. One evening, after her usual river chores, he approached her, hesitating like a young boy unsure of his words. "You sing like the wind sings to the trees," he said. Ama blinked, surprised, then laughed. "And you speak like a poet disguised as a goat herder." That was the beginning. Asterisk, asterisk, as days turned into weeks, the bond between Kwame and Ama grew. It started with casual greetings, then shared jokes, and before long, they were walking side by side through the village path, Sama with her basket of laundry, and Kwame with his loyal goats trailing behind him. The villagers began to notice. Whispers followed their footsteps. They say the new goat herder is always hanging around AMA. She's too kind for her own good. She deserves better than a poor man with dust in his pocket. But Amma paid no attention. She liked Kwame. Not just for his politeness or the way he listened when she spoke, but for the way he looked at the world. Though he claimed to be poor, there was a depth in his eyes, a knowingness in his speech that felt like more than mere chance. Kwame never corrected anyone. He let the villagers believe he was nothing more than what he appeared to be. He wanted to be seen for his soul, not his signature. One afternoon, while the sky blazed orange and the goats napped under the acacia trees, Kwame and Amma sat beside. A stream Ama turned to him and asked, "You never talk about your past, where you came from before Tambo." Kwame's smile faded, just for a moment. "There's not much to say," he replied carefully. "I came from a place full of noise and people who only spoke in lies. I wanted something real." Amma looked at him, long and quiet. "Well, you found it here. This village is nothing if not real." He nodded, "And so are you." Their hands brushed briefly, neither pulled away. Tambo was buzzing with excitement. Once a year, the village held its Harvest Moon Festival, a celebration of blessings, unity, and abundance. Women adorned themselves. In brightly woven kente cloth, children danced to the beat of the drums, and elders poured libations beneath the sacred baobab tree. Kwame had never seen anything so alive. He stood near the edge of the celebration, watching Amma swirl and dance. With the other women, her laughter rang like bells, her feet light against the dusty earth, and her hair braided with beads that glinted under the moonlight. Something stirred in his chest. Was this love? But their budding connection wasn't unnoticed. A man named Ya, the village blacksmith, had long set his sights on Amma, strong and respected. Ya was loud and proud. He didn't like the attention Amma gave to the quiet, ragged goat herder. Later that night, as Kwame approached Amma with two carved wooden bracelets he had bought from a vendor, Ya intercepted. "So, you think dancing goats gives you the right to speak to her?" Ya sneered, stepping between them. Kwame remained calm. "I only came to give her something. That's all." Ya looked him up and down, chuckled, and snatched the bracelets from his hand. He tossed them into the fire. "These hands can barely afford bread. Don't insult her with trash." Amma's face flushed with anger. "That was uncalled for. Ya, you may be strong, but your heart is weak." She turned to Kwame and gently took his hand, leading him away from the crowd, away from Ya's piercing glare. That night, beneath the stars, Kwame spoke for the first time about hope. "I came here to find something real, Amma, not just friendship, but truth. And every day I spend with you, I feel closer to it." Amma looked at him, uncertain. "But I'm just a village girl. What could I give you that you don't already have?" Kwame smiled, eyes soft. "Everything I've been missing." As the days passed after the festival, Amma and Kwame's connection only deepened. They would often walk to the far edge of the village, where the tall grasses swayed and the sky stretched endlessly above them. It was their sacred space, where the noise of the world fell silent. But not everyone was happy. Ya, wounded by Amma's rejection, began to spread whispers. Rumors, "He's not who he says he is," Ya muttered in the market. Where did he even come from? No roots, no family. Men like that are hiding something. And the rumors took flight, like birds startled from trees. Kwame noticed the change. The greetings from villagers turned colder. The children who once played near his goats were called back by their mothers. Even Amma grew quiet, weighed down by the whispers that followed them. One evening, she finally spoke what had been growing in her chest. "Kwame, Is there something you're not telling me? Kwame paused. The moment had come sooner than he'd hoped. There is, he admitted, but it's not a lie. It's just the truth I haven't had the courage to say. Amma looked into his eyes, searching. Do you not trust me? I do, he said softly, more than anyone. But I came here to live like an ordinary man, to know who would care for me if I had nothing. Amma's eyes filled with tears. Then tell me now. I'm not afraid of your past. But Kwame shook his head gently. Not yet. If I tell you now, everything changes. Amma stood. Then you must decide what matters more, your truth or our future. She walked away slowly, leaving Kwame with the goats, the sunset, and a heart that ached more than he expected. The rains came suddenly that week, furious and unrelenting. The skies turned gray for days, and the riverbanks swelled with muddy water. The goats grew restless, and the hills became treacherous to climb. But duty was duty. Kwame could not abandon his flock. One morning, with the rain easing into a mist, he led the goats toward higher ground. The earth was slippery, the stones loose beneath his feet. As he guided the animals along a narrow ridge, his mind drifted to Amma, to her smile. Now absent, to her silence, now unbearable. He was so lost in thought. He didn't notice the crumbling edge until it was too late. The soil gave way. Kwame tumbled down the hillside, crashing through wet shrubs and landing with a thud in a shallow ravine. Pain seared through his leg. He tried to stand, but couldn't. His ankle was twisted, possibly broken. The goats bleated nervously from above. Rain began to fall again, harder this time, and darkness crept over the hills. Back in the village, Amma stood by the fire, unable to shake the feeling in her chest that something was wrong. Hours passed. Then night dot still, no sign of Kwame. Finally, Amma grabbed her shawl and lantern, ignoring the voices that told her to stay. He would come looking for me, she whispered, and ran out into the rain. Amma moved swiftly through the muddy paths, her lantern casting flickering golden light against the dense darkness. Rain drenched her clothes, soaked her hair, but she didn't care. She called his name through the storm, Kwame, Kwame, her voice trembling with worry. At the edge of the grazing hills, she saw something. Goat tracks, scattered, slipping. She followed them uphill, slipping once, twice, but never stopping. Then she heard it, a faint bleat. Her heart pounded. Amma! A weak voice answered from below. She rushed to the ravine's edge, holding her lantern high. There, lying among the brush and mud, was Kwame's leg, twisted unnaturally, his face pale with pain. Without hesitation, Amma slid down the slope. Crawling to his side, "Don't move," she whispered. "I'm here. You're going to be okay." Tearing part of her shawl, she wrapped his leg, creating a rough splint. She stayed with him through the storm, using her body to shield him from the cold rain. When dawn broke, she cried out for help, and a group of villagers, led by an elder healer, arrived with a stretcher. Back in the village, the healer worked on Kwame's leg while Amma sat outside, soaked and shivering but unwilling to leave. Kojo Kweku's old butler, who had kept tabs from afar, heard the news and came to Tambo, in secret. Seeing Amma's devotion, he nodded to himself. The test was working. The truth was near. Inside the hut, Kwame stirred, blinking through the haze of pain. And the first thing he saw was Amma's hand, resting gently in his. "You came for me," he said. "Always," she whispered. Days passed slowly as Kwame recovered under Amma's watchful care. The villagers, once wary, now softened toward him. His humility and patience earned quiet respect, but the secret of his true identity still weighed heavily on his heart. One afternoon, while resting under the shade of the baobab tree, Amma asked gently, Kwame, why did you really come here? What are you hiding? Kwame looked into her eyes, knowing the moment of truth had come. I am not who I seem, he confessed. My real name is Kweku Mensa. I was born into wealth, but I was lonely. I wanted to know if someone could love me for me, not for my fortune. Amma's gaze held his unwavering. And what have you found? A kind heart. Yours, tears welled in her eyes, but she smiled softly. You have shown me who you are, not what you have. That is what matters. But their peace was fragile. News of Kwame's true identity had begun to spread quietly. Some villagers felt betrayed. Others envied the billionaire in their midst. Ya, especially, grew bitter and louder in his disdain. One evening, Ya confronted Kwame before the village elders. You lied to us. You used us. Kwame lowered his head, came seeking truth, and found it. If I have hurt anyone, I ask forgiveness. Amma stepped forward, voice steady and clear. Kwame came here to find love and honesty, and I found that in him, not in his wealth. The elders whispered among themselves, then nodded in acceptance. The village gathered under the great baobab tree for a special celebration. Kwame, no longer hiding behind his humble disguise, stood tall beside Amma. The truth was out, but it had not broken their bond, had strengthened it. Kojo, the loyal butler, arrived quietly and handed Kwame a simple wooden box. Inside was a letter, an invitation to return to his world, his empire, his life of riches. But Kwame hesitated. He had found something priceless in Tanbo.am squeezed his hand. Wherever you go, you carry your true self, and I will be with you if you want. Kwame smiled, tears glistening. This village taught me that love cannot be bought. It must be earned and given freely. I want to build a life with you, here or anywhere. The villagers cheered. Ya, humbled, stepped back with respect. In the days that followed, Kwame balanced his two worlds, his corporate empire and his village home. But no matter the wealth, no matter the title, he was forever Kwame to Amma, the goat herder, who sought love and found it in the most unexpected place. Though Kwame had revealed his true identity, he knew the journey was not yet complete. He wanted to ensure Amma's love was for him, not his fortune, not his status, but the man he truly was. So, with Kojo's help, Kwame devised a final test. He sent a trusted friend, disguised as a humble traveler, to the village with a simple wooden ring. The friend approached Ama, saying that a poor man with no name wished to express his love and ask for her hand in marriage. Ama was puzzled but touched. She accepted the ring without hesitation, speaking to the traveler of the man. She loved the goat herder Kwame, not the billionaire. When Kwame appeared before Am, she looked into his eyes and said, I don't need riches. I need your heart. Kwame smiled, relief washing over him. Then I am truly the richest man alive. The village erupted in joyous celebration, their hearts united by the power of true love and loyalty. As the sun set over the rolling hills of Tambo, Kwame and Amma stood hand in hand before the village. The stars began to twinkle, witnesses to the love that had blossomed beyond wealth and appearances. Kwame spoke softly. Amma, you showed me the meaning of true love, one that sees the heart and not the gold. I promise to spend my life honoring that truth. Amma smiled, her eyes shining with hope and faith. And I promise to love you for who you are every day, through every storm and sunshine. The village cheered, their spirits lifted by the timeless lesson that love, loyalty, and humility are the true treasures of life. And so, the billionaire who disguised himself as a goat herder found more than love, he found himself. in a world often blinded by riches and status. This tale reminds us that the greatest wealth lies in honesty, humility, and the courage to be vulnerable. True love does not seek gold, but a genuine connection of souls. May we all have the bravery to look beyond the surface and cherish what truly matters. Thanks for watching. Hoped you liked it. If you watched till the end, please comment "end" so that we could understand you were with us till the end. As well as, please let us know where are you watching from. Before leaving, please hit the subscribe button, comment your thought, and share with your nearest and dearest one. See you in the next one. Till to the next one, stay happy. Goodbye.